Hi, welcome back. This video is going to be about how much YouTube actually pays you for making content. If you're going to become a YouTuber, what can you expect to earn? What sort of timescales are you looking at? Is it worth doing? Is it worth the investment in your time and energy? Are you going to become rich overnight? And there's a whole host of videos on this subject, and they range from people suggesting that you can become wealthy in a matter of weeks to people suggesting that actually no matter what you do, you're not going to make any money whatsoever. And both could be true, but they represent extremes on the spectrum. So what I can tell you is how much it generates for me and the sort of revenues that we're talking about, the revenue streams that you can get. If I add all the hours together, I spend about a day a week making content. The actual filming of the content doesn't take that long. I spend about 2 hours a week doing that. But you have to consider the equipment involved. You know, I've got a Sony ZV-E10, nice little mirrorless camera. That costs a good few £100. I've got a nice bit of lighting. That cost me about £400 or £500. I've got a decent microphone on the camera. Again, that probably cost about £100. So it's important to get those things set up. You can make content with a phone or any sort of simple camera, but the quality of the content is really important because now it's a very competitive marketplace. So if you're making lower quality looking content that's kind of shaking around everywhere, that's got really bad sound, and people have a choice of content that's high quality, really nice sounding, they're going to gravitate towards that content unless you've got some really amazing stories that you're telling. If you're standing in the middle of a groundbreaking news story, bringing people live footage, the quality of the content isn't going to be so important. They just want to know exactly what's going on. But for most YouTubers, we're not able to do that. Most people are doing reviews, giving opinions, having a chat, and therefore the quality of the content is vital. Then you're going to need somewhere to actually film the content, which sounds like a no-brainer. You think, well, I'll just film anywhere. The problem with that is houses are full of clutter normally. They're often quite noisy places if you have a family, so it's very difficult to film like in the front room because there'll be piles of stuff behind you that doesn't look great. There might be kids and dogs and stuff running through the shots. I've seen people film like that and they've got their kids running around and whatever. That's all well and good if the content you're putting out there is so interesting and so vital for people to hear that they're willing to put up with the other bits going on. If you're just doing what most YouTubers are doing and bringing people reviews, etc., you're probably going to have to find a quiet room or a shed. I actually started doing it in my garage when I first started because that was the quietest part of the house, and we had a very, very small house. We've since moved to a slightly larger place. Now I've got a room that I just dedicate to doing YouTube stuff in, and it's kind of a bit of a man cave. I've got all my tools and bits and bobs in there as well. So that means I can shut the door, I can get a bit of peace and quiet. But all this comes at a price, right? None of this is free. So you have to consider all that to start with. Then once you get started, you've obviously got no subscribers, hardly anyone watches. I think one of the biggest misconceptions about YouTube that people have, and it's something I did, you've got lots of friends and family that say, oh cool, it'll be so great when you do your video, and people automatically think they're just going to put a video onto YouTube, they're going to upload it. A lot of the time they'll say, hey, it's all about me, an introduction to the channel or whatever, and then they're mortified that only 2 or 3 people actually viewed it, and when they check the analytics they watched it for like 10 seconds. So they're not going to make any money from that. You need to fulfill a number of obligations to YouTube before you can even start to make money. So you need to hit a certain amount of subscribers, a certain amount of view time, etc. So you have to focus on your first videos on YouTube are going to be trying to bring people to the platform, trying to bring subscribers there so you can begin to monetize. Once you've got enough subscribers, you can then monetize the platform. So that's where your ad revenue comes in. So YouTube will then pay you based on the fact that you've got adverts in your videos. So if you're someone who doesn't want any advertising in your videos, you're not allowing YouTube to do that, you're not going to make any money from YouTube. They're not going to pay you. That is a non-negotiable. So I survive pretty much on ad revenue alone. And when I say survive, I've got a full-time job. This is just a side hustle, and we'll go into that in a minute as well. But generally speaking, the average income per month for a channel that's just hovering below 30,000 subscribers is about £700. That's what it brings in. Now you might think, whoa, that's really good, you know, £700, but I'm spending a day a week doing that. I'm spending quite a lot of money on things to review, and we'll go into that in a minute as well, because that's part of it, sponsorship, collaboration, etc. And I'm also having to pay tax on that. That's another misconception people have, that the money you get from making videos, it's not a real job, so therefore it's just your money, it's like a gift. It isn't a gift. That's not how the tax man sees it in the UK. I mean, depending on which country you're in, you're going to have different regulation, but in the UK, it's like a second job, you know, so you have to consider yourself to be self-employed. You have to fill out all your taxes every year and pay them in. Now, the good thing about that is you can offset some of that spend. So if I buy something for the channel and I review it on the channel, it becomes property of the business that is my YouTube channel, right? So I buy it out of the money. When I do my taxes at the end of the year, I have to add together all the things that I bought for the channel, including the lighting, maybe the electricity, even the room, you know, how much the room's costing me in terms of my house, all that stuff together, every item that I review, and then I can offset that against how much tax I pay, because that's like a business, you know, your outgoings versus your incomings, and whatever's left at the end is your net profit, and then you're going to pay tax on the net profit. So it's not the worst case scenario. It means that you can accumulate some stuff under the banner of your YouTube business. So if you like to accumulate stuff, that's a pretty cool way to do it, because in effect you're kind of getting it for free, I guess you could say, because you're offsetting it against what you would otherwise pay in tax. So that £700 starts to look not quite so good when you have to consider that you have to buy the things to review, and then of course you have to pay tax on it on top. So it's almost like a break-even scenario. That's the next point I would make about YouTuber money, is that when you first start up, you have to consider it a long-term play. You know, you're not going to suddenly start making loads of money in a very short period of time. It's going to be a long and drawn out process that you're going to have to be willing to invest some time and effort into. If you're someone who's just dipping in and out and you think, oh, I might do this for a couple of months, and then you might get bored and move on to something else, that's never going to generate any money. The way the algorithms work, they reward people that are consistent, that upload on a regular basis. The more you upload, the better. And if you're uploading over time, because what you also will do then is build up a library of popular videos. You know, as people get to know you and they see you come up in their feed, they'll click on that because they think, oh, I remember that guy, I enjoyed the last video he did. You will build up a bunch of videos historically that people will still continue to view, and sometimes YouTube just randomly throws one of those videos up into its recommended, and you will find that one of those videos gets loads and loads of views. You haven't done anything with it, you know, it's just been sat there, but suddenly it just skyrockets and starts generating income. And you can use YouTube app to actually look at how much income is generated from which content. There's all kinds of analytics you can look into there, which are very, very useful. So if you're going to do this, I would recommend looking at all those analytics to understand who your audience is, you know, when they're watching the videos. That's maybe interesting if you're uploading at a certain time, and what sort of subjects are really interesting to the audience, and then you can kind of push the channel in that direction. I've got quite a diverse channel, but I can definitely tell that, like, the security stories, for example, do really well on this channel, and some of my reviews not so well. And there's other reasons that you might review things. It's not just for the ad revenue from YouTube. So that leads us on to the next point, that there's collaborations, you know, free stuff from companies, maybe even payment from companies. And I would say I've never been offered any payments from companies. As I say, my channel's small. I've got less than 30,000 subscribers, just coming up for 30k. My aim at the moment is to get to 100k. But I've never had any financial offers, as in they will pay me. You know, I've heard of that happening. I'm sure for the much bigger subscribers that occurs. And that would also present somewhat of a moral dilemma, because the kind of companies that generally want to pay YouTubers to produce content are maybe not always the kind of companies that would fit well with the way the channel is going. You know, if I had a gambling company contact me and say, can you produce some content on gambling, they're the type of companies that are going to pay you a lot of money per month, so like a fixed wage basically. But I'm not really big into gambling. It would be very unusual for me to suddenly start producing content with gambling in it. People would sort of raise an eyebrow at that and realise, obviously, well, this guy's selling out, you know, he's just promoting stuff based on the fact it's paying him money. And I won't mess around with people, you know. This has to be a money-making scheme. My whole plan with this channel is to grow it to a point that it's actually a good side hustle, that it's making a net profit and it's benefiting me and my family. That's one of the main reasons that I do it. The other main reason is that I actually really enjoy making the content. I enjoy interacting with people that are viewing it, and I enjoy the whole process. And if you don't think that you enjoy making content, if you don't think that you've got specific passions that you could monetize by making them into videos, again, YouTube probably isn't the thing for you. So what I have had is companies asking me to review items and sending me the items. If there's an item that I really think is suitable for the channel, I sometimes write to companies and say, hey, I would like to buy this item. Do you offer any sort of trade prices for a reviewer? I never ever ask for free things, because I think that is pretty crass, you know. And if I was a business, especially a smaller business, I would not be impressed with people ringing me up or emailing me and saying, give me free stuff, especially considering the size of my channel. I've heard of that going on, that content creators are saying, hey, I want a free meal at a restaurant or whatever because I've got 25,000 subscribers. You know, they're off their rockers. That is a drop in the ocean to what you would really need to be a benefit to that restaurant. You know, if I had 10 million subscribers, then maybe. But if you had 10 million subscribers, you're probably getting invited for free to places anyway. You don't need to be emailing a restaurant and asking for free entry and free food and all that kind of thing. So I have had some items that are sent to me for review. Some of them are items that I would maybe not have selected for review, and I'm quite honest with people as well about that, that if I get offered an item, which I get offered a lot of items now, I will turn probably 80% of them down. You know, I've got loads and loads of offers from Chinese companies with random weird electronic goods. I get bombarded with stuff for the wireless CarPlay. You know, I made a video a while back because I was able to solve the disconnection problem I had with Android Auto by buying this little device on Amazon. I literally bought that device on there. It was so effective at solving my problem. I did a quick review, let people know that my woes were over basically, and I hoped that it would help some other people as well, which it does seem to have done. But since then I've been bombarded with requests to review this item and review, and they all do pretty much the same thing. Some of them have a few complexities to them, but I've said no to all them. I really don't think people are that interested in seeing like 10 different reviews of 10 different wireless CarPlay devices. If they are, they would go to a very niche channel that's specialised in that content of audio equipment or car audio or whatever. That's not me. I just like to give generalised advice and useful reviews to people. And I could go into all kinds of stuff like that. I get bombarded bizarrely with offers of fitness clothing, and it's all of the kind of lycra, cool guy, Gymsharky looking stuff. That is really not my bag. I mean, how ridiculous would I look making a video prancing around in a purple lycra pair of shorts and some sort of spandex yellow top or whatever. If I was like 18 and in really great shape, maybe I would consider that, but I'm not. I'm 48. No one wants to see a hairy 48-year-old man prancing around in lycra shorts. So I've saved you all from that possibility. I've refused those companies, thank God, and thank God for my own benefit as well, because I wouldn't want to humiliate myself like that. So there's quite a lot of stuff you get offered, which seems cool, but actually some of it becomes a bit of a hassle. Some of the relationships I've developed with companies have paid dividends that now, you know, Twisted Assisted, for example, I have a great relationship with those guys. Who Knives is another one, you know, 2 UK based companies, love those companies to bits, and they now send me some stuff. If they want something reviewed, they say, is this of interest to you? If it is, I say yes, and they send it through, so I don't have to buy the things anymore. But that's come about because people have actually started buying the products when I talk about them and review them. The companies have noticed that they have an uptick in sales, which is great for them, and they've worked that out, that it's cost effective for them to supply me with a piece for review. I give them an honest review. They've never ever asked me to say anything disingenuous, and frankly I wouldn't. You know, if I have had a review piece and it's failed, I just don't review it. I've had several EDC torches from Chinese manufacturers that I've never ever heard of these manufacturers before, and they've sent them over. They're kind of like the $12.99 torch on Amazon or whatever, and I've said, yeah, sure, I'll review, because torches fit in the parameters of what we're interested in. And they failed. You know, I've had them for 4 or 5 weeks, I've been using them, and then they just stopped working. One company sent me 3 versions of the same torch, and every single one failed in exactly the same manner. So I just didn't review it, because it's not worth me coming on here and bashing products. You know, I'm not about that. Now, you might get some kickbacks from those reviews in terms of commission. That is incredibly common now. The commission payments I get are tiny. Like, I get some Amazon commission payments probably once every 3 or 4 months. I get about £35 from Amazon. That just goes to show, you know, how low they are. The only way you're going to really seriously make money with Amazon commission payments is if you're one of these mega kind of online sellers that's just bombarding all the TikTok and every single social media outlet there is with these adverts, and then you're driving people to buy that thing. Then you're going to make some money. But for me, you know, the amount of people that are clicking on my Amazon links, it's just not enough. So yes, it's great, you know, you get £35 every few months arrive in your bank account, but it's certainly not going to change anyone's life. The same, there's a couple of companies that provide commission payments, and they're not groundbreaking at all. You know, you might get a few pounds or a few dollars here or there. Again, that's due to the amount that I sell. If I was absolutely bombarding every social network with that stuff, I would make a lot more, but I don't, because I'm trying to keep true to the channel and give honest content. I'm not here to be like a marketing platform, you know. And I guess that's a decision you kind of have to make when you start out on this journey is, are you going to be a hardcore marketing platform? You know, that's really a marketing play where you're using video just to sell product, and that works for some people, and it's pure business. There's very little passion involved. They're literally just video marketing. And if that's you, you know, if that's how you want to make money, then good luck to you. I was more about the passion, the interest, the content of the video, having high quality content that people actually enjoy, because I get kind of annoyed about being marketed to all the time. And that's a little bit different. You can still make some money off it, but you're never going to achieve the sort of money you would just make through hardcore video marketing. So you're going to have to pick a route going forward. And the last way that I made any money on YouTube was with subscribers that actually pay a premium. It's like £1 or £2 a month. I can't remember which it is I charge, but that gives them access to some premium content. So I put some diet and training stuff in there for people, and they can just opt in, pay a couple of pounds for the month, collect all that information, and then opt back out again. So I didn't want to get people hooked into a subscription system, because at that point I feel that I'm indebted to produce a lot of content every single month to kind of pay them back for what they're investing. You know, if I was going to charge £5 to £10 a month to subscribe as a premium subscriber, I would want to be offering something that gave real good value for money, and I have to balance that out with how much time I've got. If this was my full-time career, then maybe that would be something I would consider, but I would really feel disingenuous if I was, you know, chucking out like some channels do. They give people like a 2-minute premium subscribers video, or add a couple of minutes onto one of their longer form videos and say the last couple of minutes is for premium subscribers only, and just release that slightly longer piece of footage to the premium guys. I think that's a pretty sad way of doing it. I guess there's a lot of fanboying going on. You know, if you really worship the people on a YouTube channel, then you might feel good about paying them that subscription content because it makes you feel like you're more of a fan or whatever. Again, I'm a small channel. I don't have that kind of reach. I don't have a bunch of fans that are desperate to send me money. But I have had people make super thanks to me. You know, there's a thing you can do where you can pay like a super thanks. It's like a tip. And I've had quite a few of those of like $3, $5, stuff like that. Very, very kind of people. I'm always amazed that people have enjoyed the content enough to actually send me a tip. So thank you very much to those that did. I really appreciate it. And as you can see, that goes back into making more and more content. Then you have to consider how much time that you've got. And like I said, I'm spending a day a week doing this. If I was prepared to spend every day a week doing this and make it my full-time job and jump in with both feet and maybe take a bit of a risk, I could obviously make more money. You know, there's a very simple calculation there that the more content you create, as long as you retain the same or better quality than you normally produce, then you're going to make more money because there's more videos there, you're going to get more views, there's more adverts being sent out, and that brings you more money. So there's always an option to increase, but you have to offset that with obviously the bills you pay, the rent, you know, having a secure form of income, because none of this is guaranteed. You could have a terrible month where no one watches anything and then you don't get any money at all. I really enjoy my day job in the defence sector, or I work in ballistics, do defence sales for small arms ammunition, work with a lot of military units, police units and stuff. So a fantastic job that I very much enjoy, and it's very, very well paid. So I would have to earn quite a good hourly rate on YouTube if I was to give up that job and then switch over and do this full time. So you have to balance that out. You know, if I was working in a factory and getting paid minimum wage, then this would probably be much more preferable, because I could maybe make the sort of wages that I was making in the factory just by producing more and more content, and I'd be a lot happier doing so, because not many people enjoy working in a factory. So if that's you and you've got a kind of stagnant day job, you work in an office, you're bored of it, you work in a factory and you're getting paid, you know, minimum wage or something near to that, and you've got enough content that you're starting to make money, then going into that with both feet and producing content full time might be a great option for you. Because one of the most important things you can do is enjoy what you do for a job. You know, it absolutely sucks to do something that you don't enjoy. It's soul destroying, and I would strongly urge people, whenever they can, you know, try not to do that. I've heard of people asking the universe for things, you know, that's like a thing that people talk about. Don't ask the universe, ask yourself. You know, tell yourself, I don't want to live this type of lifestyle, I don't want to be stuck in a dead-end office job or whatever it is. I like X and Y subjects. I'm going to monetize my passion for those subjects, and I'm going to either create my own business, become an entrepreneur, or you could start talking about it and making content based on that. Whichever it is, we've all got niche interests that we can monetize, and then we can actually enjoy what we do for a living. You know, we've all got that ability. So just ask yourself to make some changes. Don't ask the universe for it, and be serious. Set some goals. You know, I set a goal, okay, I'm going to start making content. My first goal was, in the first year, I'm going to become monetized. I actually became monetized within a few months. And then I continued. I said, okay, my first year I want 10,000 subscribers, and I was able to achieve that. In the second year, which I'm in now, basically I wanted more subscribers, I wanted more content out there. I'm achieving that. I probably won't achieve my aim of 100k by December, but I'm having a good go at it. But it's important to set those goals, and when I get to December, even if I haven't achieved that, so what? You know, that will continue to be my goal until I do achieve it. It's important to have short-term and long-term goals. You know, short-term goals might be I want to produce a video on an interesting subject, but it's going to cost a bit of money, so I'm going to aim in the next 1 or 2 months to go and make that video. A long-term goal would be, hey, I want to start earning £2,000 a month, or whatever that may be. And another long-term goal might even be, hey, I want to drive a X type of car, you know, I want a Porsche, I'm going to aim to get that in 5 years' time. And it's crazy how when you set those goals for yourself, you can actually get there. You know, I've done that pretty much my whole adult life. When I was miserable and I wasn't doing well, it's because I had no goals set. I was just living on the day. I was like, what do I need to do today to get enough money to eat tonight and to go and have a laugh with my mates? It was very, very shallow, very short term. As soon as I started setting myself goals for a longer term, I started to achieve those, and my life got massively better. So making content can be part of that, and it can improve your life in all kinds of different ways. Not just financially, it can actually get you into that sort of goal setting mentality where you become more entrepreneurial and you start looking at the things that you can do, that you can take responsibility for to improve yourself and your life, whether that be financially, emotionally, whatever. So it's been a fantastic experience, which I do not regret at all, and I will continue doing. So am I rich from YouTube? No. Is anyone else likely to be rich from YouTube under 100,000 subscribers? No. Even over 100,000 subscribers, you're not going to be rich. You're probably going to be in a position where maybe you can do it full time, depending on your work. I hope that sheds some light on the subject. I hope that's some good information for people thinking of starting out, or who have just started out and maybe have some ideas one way or the other. That was certainly a question that I had when I first started, of, you know, what is the possibility of this? Is it going to be great? I was actually pleasantly surprised. I thought I would need like millions of subscribers even to earn a few thousand a month, and it turns out I was wrong. You know, you can do that with a few thousand subscribers if you get enough views on your content. When you get some content that gets a lot of views, use that to take you in that direction. You know, if you do a bit of a diverse channel and you do some reviews on one thing and some talks about another thing, watching the analytics, what's getting more views, whatever is getting the most views, replicate that. You know, whether it be the type of thumbnail you used, or the video title, or the content of the video, have a look at all those things and think what was drawing people into that, and try to channel your energies in that direction. That will greatly help you. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. I'll catch you all soon.